In the dense darkness of the Amazon rainforest, where sunlight barely touches the ground and the silence seems to breathe, there is something that should not exist. They call it the Mapinguari. Some say it was once a powerful shaman, cursed for defying the forest gods. Others believe it's a prehistoric beast that never accepted extinction. Its origin doesn't matter. What matters is the trail it leaves behind. The Mapinguari is massive, covered in hide as tough as weathered leather, untouched by knives or bullets. It has a single eye in the middle of its forehead, red, alive, always hungry. But its most terrifying feature is the vertical mouth that splits its stomach from chest to waist, always open, packed with crooked teeth that look like human bones. But the most dangerous part isn't what it looks like. It's the sound. The Mapinguari whistles, a low, drawn-out note that blends into the wind. People who hear it swear it sounds like a child calling from afar, or a friend calling from the other side of the brush. That's how it tricks. It separates. Then it hunts. Hunters, loggers, even tourists. Everyone's heard the stories. Some swear they got away. Others left behind only footprints and blood. Because in the deep jungle, when the whistling suddenly stops, it means he's already too close to hear. Luz and Beto entered the forest just after sunrise. They carried light packs, sharpened machetes, and a hunting rifle that had served them well many times before. They weren't new to the game. They'd grown up hearing stories about jaguars, giant snakes, and jungle spirits. But they didn't believe in any of it. They hunted for meat. And that week, they were chasing rumors of fat capybaras near the Igarap S. They followed an old trail once used by indigenous people. The path was narrow, muggy, and the humidity clung to their bones. The air smelled of rotting leaves and something alive. The forest here was darker, thicker, as if it resisted the presence of men. Around noon, they stopped to rest, sat on a fallen log, drank warm water, chewed dry meat. That's when they heard it for the first time, a long whistle drifting from the east, low, persistent, and disturbingly human. Luz figured Beto was messing with him. Beto thought it was Luz pulling a prank, but neither had made a sound. And the whistling continued, broken now and then by faint cracks like footsteps on damp leaves. They stood alert, waited. The sound stopped. They pushed on, brushing it off as weird wind, but the forest was changing. The path had grown faint, like it had never existed. Further on, they found tracks, too big for any known animal. Beside them, deep gouges in tree trunks, like thick fingers with claws had used them to pull up from the ground. The rifle came off Luz's shoulder. Their eyes scanned for something they didn't want to find. And the whistle came back, closer. The afternoon disappeared too fast. Sunlight, filtered through the canopy, crumbled before hitting the ground. Luz and Beto hadn't realized how far they'd gone, or if they'd moved at all. The trail they'd followed for hours seemed to have evaporated. No footprints, no familiar trees, no way back. They knew how to navigate by sun, moss, running water, but none of it worked now. The sky, once bright, was hidden under heavy clouds, and the usual soundtrack of birds and insects had gone completely silent. No singing, no chirps, not even wind. Only their own footsteps, the pounding in their ears, and every now and then, the whistle. Clearer, closer. It felt like someone stood just a few feet away, hidden behind a curtain of leaves. But no one answered, just the whistling, long, steady, calling. The rifle was loaded now, aimed, but the hands holding it shook. Sweat ran cold down their backs. Beto suggested turning back, but they didn't know where back was. Luz insisted on pushing forward. Maybe they'd find a stream or clearing. What they found instead was the smell. Rot. Sharp and thick, like something dead for days. The kind of stench that sticks to your tongue and turns your stomach. Ahead, the trees opened into a bald patch of dry earth where nothing grew. In the center, bones, lots of them, big, small, some human, others bigger. On a fallen trunk, a bite mark, wide, jagged, deep, like something with teeth had chewed through solid wood. Beto vomited. Luz said nothing. He just looked up into the trees, as if expecting something to move. And then the whistle stopped. The silence that followed was worse. Because when the Mapinguari stops calling, it's because he no longer needs to. Luz didn't know when exactly he lost sight of Beto. 1 second, they were back to back, watching each other's six. Then snap. A branch broke. Luz turned. Beto was gone. No footsteps. No scream. No struggle. Just brush still swaying, like it had just finished swallowing him. He called out. Once. Twice. 3 times. Nothing. The whistling returned, softer now, thinner, almost like sobbing in the distance. But this time it came from every direction at once. Luz forced himself to stay calm. He moved slowly, gun ready, whispering his friend's name. The smell of rot was stronger now, burning his nose, stinging his eyes. Then he heard it. A sharp, guttural noise, crying mixed with pain. A human scream, drawn out, broken. Beto's voice. No doubt. From ahead, or the right, or maybe the left. The forest twisted everything. Luz ran, jumped roots, tore through vines, tripped on stones hidden in the mud. He chased the scream like it was a lifeline, but with every step, it drifted farther away, until suddenly it stopped. In its place, the wet sound of flesh being torn, and the whistle, now barely a breath, just behind the nearest tree. He spun and fired. Once, twice, 3 times. Nothing. Only the click of shells hitting the dirt. Then came the sound. Not from ahead. From above. The trunk of a tree shook. Not from wind. There was no wind, but from something heavy moving in the canopy. He ran. No direction. Just away. The forest closed in. Vines appeared where there were none before. Branches clawed at his skin, ripped his pants, drew blood. But he didn't stop until he tripped. And there in front of him lay Beto, or what was left of him. The body was open, but not cut, ripped, from chest to groin, like a massive mouth had swallowed him from the middle. His face was frozen in terror. The earth was soaked, and in the dark mud, footprints the size of a man's head, 3 toes, deep claws. Luz screamed, then sobbed, then went silent. The sound changed. No more whistling, just breathing, heavy, wet, coming from behind trees, beneath the soil, from the heart of the jungle. He looked up. The Mapinguari was there, not hunting from hunger, but revealing itself, choosing when to kill. Over 3 meters tall, covered in thick scarred hide, one glowing eye, and the mouth, vertical, slowly opening, revealing a rough tongue, stone-like teeth, and a noise that sounded like a growl strangled by laughter. Luz couldn't scream, couldn't move. His rifle slipped from his hands. The Mapinguari advanced slowly, like it was savoring the fear, knowing that the worst part of any hunt is when the prey realizes there's nowhere left to run. When he dropped to his knees, the creature paused, watched, breathed, then, with one single motion, lifted him like straw. The mouth opened wider, and the jungle went dark. They say the whistling can still be heard in that part of the forest. The old folks stay away. The trees twist more than they should. The ground feels soft. And when night falls, the birds flee before the sun even dips. No bodies were found. No trail, no prints, no gear. Only a smell, faint, but always there, of something dead. That keeps walking. Would you follow a whistle deep into the jungle? Is the Mapinguari just a myth, or a warning the forest refuses to forget? If this story gave you chills, drop a comment below. Which region should we explore in the next haunting legend?